adults of Reddit, what is something every teenager needs to know? It's okay to say no to anyone. Don't let anyone in your life guilt trip you into doing something you don't want to do or are uncomfortable with. It's exactly as lame to not do something you want to do because it's too mainstream or popular as it is to do something only because it's cool and the cool kids are doing it. Learn a second language. It's good for your brain and it's a lot easier when you're young. Get active and fit. Make it a habit. This is one of the most important ways to stave off cognitive decline as you get older. Plus, it's great for managing mental health during the transition to adulthood. The measure of whether someone has the potential to be a new friend of yours is not whether they like a bunch of things you like. It is entirely possible to become friends with people who like a ton of things you've never heard of, or even already decided you dislike. You are at a spot in life where a lot of your likes and dislikes are subject to change anyway. Biggest thing, making a new friend often takes time, lots of time, much longer than movies and shows make it look like fine things to do, groups to join, city league sports to play, pandemic permitting, or after, and keep learning about the people you see repeatedly. Far too many early 20s people who report having no friends made a premature judgment that one or more prospective friends were off the list when it just needed a lot more time. Failing is okay. Start trying to save money now. You will definitely thank yourself later on. Get a marketable skill. Unskilled labor. You need something that's going to pay you. It doesn't have to be your life's passion, contrary to what my RS was saying at that age, but you do need to be able to tolerate it. If you don't have a passion, learn new skills. You might find your passion or something you're good at. Cashiers don't care if you buy S. Don't put off dealing with mental health issues. Developing unhealthy coping mechanisms for emotional issues will up big time down the road. If you have issues, deal with it head on. Right away. It can take time, but start the work now. Also, save for retirement. You should open a Roth IRA yesterday. When you get to driving, you need to realize that the laws of physics apply to you. They aren't out to get you, they are just indifferent. Slow the down and don't horse around. You're driving a very heavy machine at speeds we did not evolve to deal with. Be safe. If you are altered on campus, notify the police, not campus security. Learn to trust your gut when in strange situations. If something feels off/wrong, it probably is. Don't go along with something if it feels wrong. How to de-escalate difficult situations, and how to disagree with a teacher/someone in authority without sounding like a know-it-all or in a condescending manner. For example, if a teacher says X and you are certain you learn differently, recognize that there may be certain circumstances that you may not realize that changes something. Lead the disagreement with a saying like, "Excuse me, I may be wrong, but I thought/learned why." This kind of phrasing does not cause the other person to be on the defensive, which can allow gentle new instruction for you, or a graceful/face-saving correction for the teacher. A situation with differing opinions doesn't have to be confrontational. I graduated 10 years ago from high school and none of those people are in my life now, so take your time being you and grow your self-esteem and talents now over wasting time trying to impress those you won't even remember in a few months after graduation. Edit. It seems like there is some confusion as to my advice. I'm not saying drop your friends, those are a very important aspect of life, especially in high school. What I'm saying is drop the politics and drama of your school. I know it feels like it is the whole world now, but if you let those who try to bring you down, who mock you, who try and pressure you will not be around forever. Worry about building yourself to being the best you that you can become. I still have contact with a few childhood friends to this day, just not really any I made in high school. But all those negative, drama craving, bullies, and those downbeats in general will not follow you. While you shouldn't believe those who say these gonna be the best years of your life, try to make the most of it, to enjoy the ride. Don't be ashamed of your hobbies and passions. Those who make fun of that can go themselves. Every feeling you have deserves to be expressed in any constructive manner. Don't fear rejection from those you like/love. Tell them, and come what may. Hold yourself to your own standards. If you wouldn't let anyone treat your friends/family like trash, then don't do it yourself. If you feel learning is a positive thing, then learn on the daily. If you value work and security, then give yourself security through work. If you expect others to be intelligent and to care, then you should be intelligent and caring. Hold yourself accountable for how you want the world to be. Be a part of the world you want to live in. Edit. Wow. This stratospherically launched my internet points. Thank you very much everybody. That feels very nice. I wish you all a great week. XDD. Honestly, your teens are the perfect time to begin small on creating good habits that pay off in the long run. Save and or invest 10% of any money you receive. Create a habit of exercising. Even just small exercises every day. Someone else said it, but it is worth repeating. Brush your teeth. Figure out what you enjoy. Read and try a lot of different things. Go to camps or shadow any jobs you think you might be interested in. Sometimes the job you think you'd enjoy, you find out you have no interest in at all. This will save you a lot of money, like studying pre-med and learning you hate healthcare. This is a difficult one as a teen, but try to establish a decent sleeping habit, preferably one where you wake up early. I feel like I slept my teen years away. Edit. On number 5, I meant going to bed earlier and waking up earlier, not sleeping less. I realize teens need more sleep. Edit 2. Guys, I don't have all the answers. Those were just what came to my head at the moment. Feel free to add additional numbers. People, employers, etc. will take advantage of your naivete. In many cases this will be illegal. I've said this before, but it's important. When someone says you can't do something in life, it means they can't do it, not that you can't. Advice is free, and if you respond to it with I know, then you're probably not gonna figure your problem out. The person you love at the 17th of May not be the person you love at 30. You change, they change. Learn how to cook. It's way cheaper and usually faster than to key it. Most of your friends are the act of geographic convenience. Just because you grew up being friends with a neighbor or a fellow student doesn't mean you owe them your undying loyalty when they start treating you like. There's always more to it. Right now isn't the be all and end all. Edit. Wowie, thank you for the awards, kind strangers. I will also say that by no means as a teen should your feelings be downplayed, and this is not suggesting that your current issues are minimal. It's important to recognize how you're feeling, but also don't let it consume or dictate how you look towards your future. There is always going to be a better time. To those who reached out to me, keep pushing on. You deserve so much better, will get better, and have exciting things ahead. We know all the tricks. We were teenagers once before as well. When you make a mistake, own up to it. People are more willing to help you when you admit you did a dumb thing. This goes for school, work, and personal life. Forget to make a payment on a loan. Call and talk to the finance company. Mess something up on a school project. Tell your teacher and ask for a bit of leeway, etc. People will be more likely to help you if you communicate. Start your retirement fund as early as possible. Doesn't matter if you can only afford $5 a week. It's still $5 more than you would have had otherwise. It will add up, and you'll thank yourself later. Learn the signs and signals of toxic relationships. All too often these can start as early as high school, and before you know it, you've wasted years of your life being someone's victim. Every teenager should be taught proper ed, how to prevent pregnancy and STIS. They should also do a better job of explaining the differences between real and, though honestly there are some great instructional videos on Hub out there. Edit and adding consent explicitly for you/breadbox 187's pertinent reminder. This is going to sound cliche, but just be yourself. Having friends is important, but don't act like them just to fit in. You may not entirely know who you are yet, and by not being yourself, you're going to lose your true self in the mix. If you're lucky, it'll take many years and a lot of soul searching to even bring back your uniqueness, and then clump that all together to learn who you truly are. I made this mistake. I'm 37. Now, it took me 20 years to undo everything, because in college and afterwards, I was a chameleon changing my personality with each group of friends I was with. I had no idea who I was. It took a lot of work on my self-esteem to recorrect my thought process. Edit. High school is really tough, as hard as it might be. Try not to feed a bully with more ammo, ignore the person and they'll get bored and move on. Also, try to enjoy life responsibly. Of course, you can have some great, fun, and happy years as a teenager. Figure out what activities you love most to do and do them. Hang out with positive people, put yourself first. You're going to get hurt, but the feelings will pass, I promise. These are all things I didn't do as a teenager. I had a traumatic childhood and its effects really started to hit me as a teenager. It led to miserable years when it could have been so much different. Compound interest. It's never too early to start saving for retirement. Good music will help you in life. Take a personal finance class. Twitter or any social media is a loaded gun. It's there forever. Even if you delete it, there are people in bad situations. This is sad, but not all of them want to be saved from it. We, your parents, are harsh because we want you to make better choices than we did. The wisest of us, though, will let you make mistakes and fail to a smaller degree because we know you. Don't listen. Edit. Some parents truly are. My advice isn't universal in this case. Sorry for any confusion. Check out r/RaySaidBinarcissists to see if yours qualifies. People tell you these are the best years of your life. That's just because you have fewer responsibilities in their eyes doesn't mean your problems are invalid. It was especially hurtful for me to hear that when I was going through depression in high school I was already at rock bottom. But if it's all downhill from here, what's the end point? You're allowed to question authority. If an authority does/says something you think is wrong, you're allowed to question that. The first step to being good at something is being bad at something. Paraphrased from Jake the dog. Taking stealthy snaps of people without their knowledge to send to your friends to make fun of them actually isn't funny or cool. It's cringy and urine. You're not the first person in the world to be a teenager and feeling like no one understands you or what it's like. We've all been there. Things can indeed get better. No one really cares or remembers the petty that happened in high school. Do not base your life and personality around social media and the facade that you are trying to create. Live your life in reality. Learn that the world will usually not lend you a hand, so you have to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Resilience, tenacity, and will. Learn to budget. Do not go into debt over saying you will pay it off later. Do not decide your major or your life choices on what will make your family happy. Rather, what makes you happy. Try to enjoy the freedom of not having any bills, not having any major responsibilities. Very relates to this thread, but remember that sometimes even well-meaning advice from very wise people can be out of date. When I was a teen, conventional wisdom was to buy a house instead of rent as soon as you could and buy all the house you can afford. And this was because for my parents, my grandparents, for most people in the country, for as long as anybody could remember, home values almost always went up over time. Especially in the long run, it would be the biggest transaction you'd ever make and probably your best investment, and it was only going to get more expensive. And then there was a housing crash and the housing market got why, and guess who wound up moving and taking a mid-5-figure loss on a lovely house when he moved out of state? This guy right here. On the plus side, a nice young family got a lovely 1,800 square foot home in a nice, safe neighborhood for a very reasonable price. There will be changes in the RL meter. The advice you get about careers, finances, etc. might wind up invalid as the world changes. Avoid debt if possible. Save money now. Adulting is way more expensive than you can ever imagine. Never trust her. Start a fitness plan. Habits. When you're young you won't have that metabolism forever. Don't get in the habit of drinking alcohol. It may end up running and ruining your life. If you don't have a passion yet, don't sweat it. And don't think you have to go to college straight away. Get an apartment to share with friends and job hop until you figure out what you're good at / enjoy doing. Then consider college for that specific area. Everyone is smart, just at different things. People can be book smart or people smart or machine smart etc. But the difference between successful people and not so much is the application and dedication you give. My nephew is 9 and his dad is already calling him dumb, which is insane because that kid is so quick, he understands things rapidly, but he doesn't like school right now. This is something I just told him. If you don't brush your teeth, big regrets. Point, don't talk too much about yourself and your private life and ideas. It will be used against you. Point, emotionally you are going to feel better and survive the struggles you are into. Point, don't breed anger. It will consume your time and energies. Time flies. I'm 38 years old. It seems yesterday I was in my 20s. Enjoy the ride. Take care of your why. Don't listen too much to the wired stuff coming from your mind.